And welcome to another edition of Spits and Suds. I'm Gavin Spittle of 105.3 The Fan. We have a real nice one for you today. Stick tap to all of you who listen and support Spits and Suds. We had an amazing July, and now we're heading toward the Stars training camp, and really exciting stuff to ahead. Excited to talk Stars with you today, and we love bringing you guests that provide a unique insight and information, and I think you're going to get that today, especially when that guest is entering his 19th season playing professional hockey, and he's getting better with age. He's like the Italian Jaromir Jagr. He finished 16th in the Italian league in scoring, 52 points, helped lead his team to raising the Italian Cup, tweeted out pictures, and you saw, and you were kind of long for the ride. It was awesome. We talked about it on Spits and Suds. Man, it was tough getting you on, but finally getting him to commit, we did. It's Florian Wieser, also known as a Spits and Suds
Hi, Gavin.
listener. How are you, man? Flo Wee on Twitter X. You need to give him a follow. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Gavin. I'm doing great. You?
I'm awesome. I am awesome. I'm excited to talk about your career in Europe, what it's like to play in Europe, but also talk about the Stars. Let's start there. What is the story behind you becoming a Dallas Stars, like serious fan, like getting up early, watching games, taping games? How did you become a Dallas Stars fan?
Oh, that's I think that's an interesting story, when I was young, I started playing hockey with my neighbor and cousin, like we started playing together. And my cousin, he played goalie, and my cousin's name was Dominic. And who do you think like his idol was?
Dominic Hasek.
Yes. So, and which team beat Dominic Hasek's Buffalo Sabres in 1999?
That's right. Yes. So he was mad that Brett Hull might have been in the crease.
Yeah, the thing is, like he played goalie, I played forward. Like his idol was Dominic Hasek, and the Buffalo Sabres, and the Stars like won the cup in 1999. So, the Stars were my team. That's the team I choose to follow, and since then, like Mike Modano was my idol growing up. And here in Europe, like it's like we didn't have NHL on TV like regularly. Like we only had highlights once a week, like a 20-minute show, 30-minute show on German television. And our like the most touches we had with the NHL was in video games, like the EA Sports, computer games, PlayStation games. And the Stars were a really good team there too, and that's how I followed them. Like I played with them and Mike Modano, and they when you play video games with on the computer on the PlayStation, like you want to play good teams, and the Stars had a really good team like in those years when I was young.
Nice. Did you ever select wearing a number 9 sweater based on Madonna?
I had one. Yes,
Nice.
I really had one. I honestly I don't know where it ended. I can't find it anymore. But like I did some research at my parents' home, but it's I couldn't find it
And how did you come across Spits and Suds?
on Twitter
Yeah.
X, like
Okay.
on Twitter. That's how I saw you, like you with Lutz starting the pod. I
Yeah.
followed Sean for a long time.
Yeah.
And like I watch a lot of Stars hockey. I really like to follow the team. I would say I'm really into it. And yeah, because like after my playing career, I want to become a coach too. So
Nice.
I try to watch a lot of hockey,
Yep.
try to learn as much as possible, and yeah.
So when you retire, which will not happen, but when you retire, you keep saying you're going to retire, but when you retire, you got to come to Dallas for a game.
Oh, that would be like that's I tell my wife, like I think every year I tell it, like it would my dream to go over to Dallas to watch a game. Like that would a dream come true to watch like a game in the AAC.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so playing as much as you have, you've been through a lot of coaches. Were you surprised that the Stars made this coaching change?
I would say no, no, because like to be honest, I'm not the biggest Pete DeBoer fan. Like I think he's a good coach, but I think that there was some missing ingredients. Like they were too predictable, I would say. Like everybody knows how the board teams play, and that's what kills those teams most of the time in the playoffs. Like he needs like the elite players to decide games, like Rantanen did in the Colorado series,
Mm-hmm.
and he has not, or what I see, like he has not built a structure where also the second, third, or fourth line can decide games, especially if it's not going, especially if the top players are not bringing the A game. And that's special in the playoffs when the other teams have game plans and everything going on top players and on the team. It's. I'm not the biggest fan, but of course he's a good coach. His track record speaks for himself. But in the end, I'm happy that now Stars have a new coach, and I really hope that they can make the progress they need to make.
All right, take us inside. You've been in a lot of rooms, and we talk about room culture. So, the way that Jake Ottinger was pulled, and then the post game comments, and then we fast forward to the exit interview, and having not met with Jake yet, how does that affect the room, or does it? I mean, is it a tight knit group where the guys get together and say, you know what, this isn't right? Or does everyone kind of, in your situation, does everyone kind of keep to themselves? And as a team leader, how do you go about your business?
I like you said, like I played. I'm going to play like now my 19th seasons. I played 18 seasons. I was in with teams with a good culture, with bad culture. Now I have enough experience to what I think to know what a good culture needs and what is. And I think you need in the room, you need a core of 6 to 7 players that sticks together, that is or was there for 2 to 3 years, that know each other, and take the other players with them in the right direction. And I really think Jake was part. What I hear, like I don't know, but Robert said on your part that Jake was the guy who planned the sauna trips for the Finns.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think like that he's one of those 6, 7 core guys, and like the players are not stupid, like they read things and they know things. And if something like that happen, of course it affects them. And that was just the last thing that had to happen for the board to get fired. I think you can't let your franchise goalie down like that. I think it yeah,
Yeah.
it has had to happen.
So you and I had an offline conversation, and I was absolutely fascinated because I talked on one of the podcasts as far as, are we becoming a positionless sport? And you did a good job explaining to me the difference between the center, the wing, and that it can't be positionless. And I thought that was amazing insight that I hadn't really thought of from a player's perspective. So now, fast forward, we're looking at one or two of the stars, whoever it may be, having to switch to wing, depending on what their initial opening day lineup, but where they stand right now. It could be Sam Steele that's switching to wing. So give me your thought on how it can't be a positionless sport, and then what goes in as far as the center and the wing, because I think this is a really good learning aspect from a player's perspective to our listeners.
Yeah, like I think like in youth hockey, like the coach always want the smartest player as a center, because a center has to play like O zone, D zone everywhere, and he needs to understand the game. And I think that you see that also then in men's hockey, that like most of the time really smart players are playing as a center. And but nowadays it's that the game is too fast. The game is too fast that the center always is in the center position, left wing on left wing, and the right wing on the right side. It's on Coaches always talk now about F1, F2, F3 in the forecheck, and F1, F2, F3 on the back check. But nonetheless, that it's F1, F2, F3 in the back check, at some point in the D zone, coaches want you to switch. Like they want the forward to switch to the centers back down low with the Ds because he has the most experience and the most knowledge how to play the D zone as a forward. But the tendencies are there, like in like forecheck ozone, it's always F1, F2, F3. Nobody speaks anymore about center or left wing. It's in this sense, it's positionless, and even the D are starting, like it's even that some coaches are already talking about 5-man units, like the 1D can be F4 at some point, like it's getting there.
You had even talked about the possibility of maybe moving a player like Rope Hintz, who right now is the number one center, to wing.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Hints fan as your number one fan on a Stanley Cup winning team. I tweeted at you, and you were told guys, like I think if you look at the past Stanley Cup winners, like you need a horse at the first line center position. Like you need a McKinnon, you need a Eichel, you need one of those guys. You need a Barkov. And I think Hintz is a good center. Like he's a top 20, maybe top 15 center in this league. But the Stars' best chance to get one of those horses at this spot, I think it's to let Wyatt Johnson grow into this position, like into this role, and move Rope Hintz to the left wing. And I think, like, if you watch the stats, like, Rope is the player who takes the shortest shifts on the Stars roster. Like his shifts are really short. And I think that's maybe because he has so many responsibilities, ozone, D zone as a center, that it would maybe help him to use his speed more as a left wing, let him have more of a free role and give the defensive coverage to Wyatt and let Rope fly, like let him fly as a wing.
When the trade happened and Mikko Rantanen was acquired, give me your thoughts, because that's one of Europe's top stars. I mean, Draisaitl's got to be up there as one of the top European stars, but clearly Mikko Rantanen is among the best.
Yeah, Mika, like I think like as a German speaking European, like Dreisaitl is the go-to guy. I remember when Sean and he had the car cast like some
Yeah.
like 8, 9, 10 years ago. Like maybe you remember. I tweeted at him and asked the question. I think it was after Sagan had his best season in as point wise. I asked him if he would trade Dreisaitl 1-for-1 for Sagan. And I think Dreisaitl was a rookie or sophomore like back then. I remember the answer. No way you trade Sagan for Dreisaitl. No way. Like, but yeah, yeah, Rantanen was an interesting one because last year I played with a Finn in my team, and he's a friend of Rantanen. So I had some insight on that trade, and I had some direct connection to, like, not to Rantanen but to the friend of Rantanen um who texted Mikko back there. And I always knew that Rantanen wanted to go to Dallas, like when it wasn't working out in Carolina, like and there were talks that he will get traded again. It was clear from the beginning that Dallas was his favorite, or like one of two or three teams he wanted to go. He really wanted to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of German players, Stutzel is amazing for Ottawa. I mean, that German Olympic team is going to be really, really good. But, I mean, he's easily the top, I think, under 24 or 25 player in the league right now.
Yeah, he's awesome, and Cider too.
Yeah.
Like
So, yeah, that's a good one. All right. my other one that Spits and Suds listeners probably get sick of hearing about is I am such an Anze Kopitar fan. And I know he's getting up there in years, but my man, I mean, that guy year after year and just the two-way that he plays. I mean, you must appreciate that as a center.
Yeah, he's one of my idols, like he's 2 years older than I am. But I almost played against him in one junior world championship. Like I had the chance, but I didn't make the team because like it was tough to get with 2 years younger, to get to make the team for that team. But I was close back then. Like he's an awesome player, and he's still doing his job like with this age, and that's unbelievable.
Okay, so
And he's really undervalued.
yeah,
Like
I
even what
agree.
everything he did and he does, like he's still undervalued, I think.
So when you signed, this is a great article because it talked about you, and it says the news pleases SV Caltern, but their opponents are somewhat less pleased. The 36-year-old striker is not only an excellent ice hockey player, but also someone who likes to provoke. So that's fascinating because that leads to this question. Because obviously, I'm talking to an agitator, and that's one of the things that I wanted a little bit more of on this Stars team is agitation without spending time in the box. And I think ultimately that's why they said goodbye to Mason Marchment. They had to rid themselves of some salary cap space as well. But as a quote, hope you don't mind me calling you an agitator, how do you walk that fine line as far as because you're one of the top scorers in the league? How do you walk that line?
Uh, that's a little bit based on the resume, like I would say was much worse when I was younger. Like now with getting older, I'm I would not say I'm a nice guy on the ice, but I'm not this much trash talking anymore. But I was really like I like a little bit like a Brad Marchand type. Not that I want
Okay.
to know, like I like to talk a lot, and I think there's an art in trash talking. Like it is an art. Like if I talk to the young guys in the room, like you can't just start talking to great players or like fourth liners or whatever. You need to have a little bit. You need to know what you are doing. Like I remember, like in 2011, like we played in the finals a really stacked team in Italy. Like it was like they had some ex. I think he played some NHL games too. Like, but they had a roster with full of ex AHL players, and they had a first line, that was outstanding, and they had a player like, but who was like, he was really good. And I had to go one on one to go like the coach told me to go one on ones against him. Like my line was the checking line then, like the Faxa line,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the, the, the Faxa line from Faxa uh, from 2 3 years ago.
Yep.
So I went one against him, and I was talking so much shit to him. But in the end, like if we both end on the bench, like on the in the box. Like he gets 2 minutes, I get 2 minutes. It's a win for my team because I got the other best player out of the game for 2 minutes. You know, and that's a really important role to play. In the game. Like it's a valuable thing to do
So
to get other teams' top players off their game.
do you do research prior as far as trash talk? And the reason I ask that is because, like the NHL, this is an international league you play in. So you see the number on the sweater, but you don't know are they German, they're Italian, are they Austrian, are they Canadian, are they American? Do you just learn that naturally?
Most of the time, not. But if in a series, in a playoff series, it's a best of five, best of seven. If you meet the other team every second day, I can do my research, and that's the really nasty stuff. Like like the other players like they are surprised if you bring some stuff up about about their mother or their girlfriend or whatever. And yeah, that's how it works on the ice. Like that's
So you don't mind going talking about their mother or their girlfriend?
oh, you have no idea. I to myself heard much worse thing that I told to other guys. You hear so many things on the ice. Like it's but you can't take that personal, like
Yeah.
in the end, I know that it's just because everybody wants to win. And like if you take that personal, I think it's stupid. But there are some stupid players that take that personal, and then they take penalties, and then I won.
So if you had someone go over the line and you just turn and say, that's too much, or hey, you got to stop there. That's way, no?
No, I laugh in his face, like
Okay.
you have to laugh about it. Like sometimes it's so funny. It's yeah.
Do you still do this with your playing style? One of the things that I really liked about Logan Stankoven was he didn't necessarily, obviously, not a big frame, but at the same time, played right until the whistle. And because where he was in front of the net, Brendan Gallagher's another example in Montreal, like guys that just get under your skin because they're just hanging around, and that causes an energy with your team. And you're just not going through the motions. All of a sudden, there's a scrum in front of the net. Everyone's getting involved. Naturally, it builds the energy. Is that something, if your team's not playing well, you're like, okay, I got to ramp it up?
I did that when I was younger,
Okay.
like I can't that anymore because like I'm now like if your first line center, like you're too valuable to do that and get in the box, that's the work some other players should do, like I said before. But you mentioning Stankoven or Gallagher, like even just watching them, they are just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I like you as an opponent, you would hate to go against those guys, and they just keep going. you I can imagine how often Stanko gets called midget on the ice or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, but he just keeps going. He keeps going, and he never stops. And I think the Stars really miss him, not because of his goals or assists, because like he brings his teammates into the game. He
Right.
drags them with them.
That's why I really like Colin Blackwell, and I'm glad he's back because he's one of those guys that, you know me, Florian. I'm a big Colin Blackwell guy. Got to get him on the program, but I'm a big Colin Blackwell. I saw you smiling.
No part without Blackwell.
All right. I want to talk about the style because you watch a lot of NHL, and here you are as a professional hockey player. What are the differences? The bigger ice, the physicality? What are some of the differences that if we were watching you in an Italian hockey league game, we'd be like, wow, that's different?
No, it's just the speed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the speed. Like it's so much faster. Like you have no time to make any decisions. It's and the smaller ice and then of course like helps for that. Like because you have even less time with that. And I think that's like the opponents are bigger, stronger. In the lockout year, I played against Bonino. Like
Mm-hmm.
Nicky Bonino.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Just going into the boards with him, like it was just he was 3 levels above us. He wasn't the flashiest guy, but when you went to battle with him, like he always came out with the puck.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest difference, like the battles and especially the speed, like speed of the game.
So, heck of a year. Is that the reason that you're coming back for your 19th season? 52 points in the regular season, 18 in the playoffs, and you raise that cup. How many cups now have your name etched in it?
Five.
Five. Oh, you said that so like humbly. You had your head down. That's amazing. Okay, so five cups, winning one now toward the end of your career compared to the first. Are they all the same, or is it now, was this one extra special?
Uh, they are different and they are extra special, I think. Like two of those five cups are really when we are really an underdog. Like nobody gave us a chance, and those are the the cups I really really appreciate. Those are the cups that stand out the most because like nobody gave you a chance, but you came through and we hoisted the cup, and yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah,
What did you do with your day with the cup?
we don't have that over here.
Oh, really?
Like not with like we no, we don't have that.
Okay.
Not in this league. I don't. I think even in the higher leagues they don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, the Olympics are coming to Italy, and I saw Italy announce their top six, and I did not see my guy Wieser on the list for the top six. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, I got to get him on the program and talk about playing in the Olympics. But your Olympic story is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, like 2006 Olympics were in Torino. I was too young, 17 years old. Now in 2026 they're in Milan. I'm too old now. Like I,
Gosh.
it's just I missed my chance, and yeah.
Wow. So what was the age limit? Was it 18?
No, there's no age limit, but
Okay.
you know what? They don't take a 17 years old to the Olympics, and honestly, I don't know if even at my best I had the level to play for the national team. I played in under 18. I was captain of the under 18 in the World Championship, Italy's, and I played under 20. But I think I even at my best, maybe I could have played fourth line or something like that. But even now, now I'm too old, Gavin.
All right. You did have some World Junior Cup experience, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I like that's one of my best memories. Like under 18 championship in Slovenia. Like we finished third. We played against Norway, Denmark. I played against Lars Eller, Mats Zuccarello. Like those
Wow.
are some memories
Sure.
that stay. Like yeah, I can say I played against those guys, and that's
Yeah.
something really nice.
From a player's perspective, we talk about face-offs equal puck possession, and our guy David Castillo said, well, our face-offs really that important. You listen to the program, David's all about the analytics. um, but at the same time, as a guy who takes a lot of draws, there truly is an art to it. And as you get older with the experience, do you find yourself getting better, or as you slow down, does it make it tougher to take draws?
I take a lot of pride in taking face-offs. Like I was at 64, 65% the last year, something
Wow,
like that.
I mean, 50% in
And
the NHL
even
makes you money.
yeah, like yeah, like a Glendenning type of player,
Yes.
like who only takes face, like he's an advantage because he's righty too. And just a little excuse, like Glendenning, it's really valuable for teams because most centers or most PP1 guys are lefties. So the team on the power play can choose which side to take the face off. Most of the teams choose on the left side. So if 70% of the players are lefties, you don't have a lefty. You have a lefty going like your PK best guys are normally lefties, and you have a disadvantage going in the face-off against the PP1 guy. So Glendenning made a living out of him, like being a righty and good at face-offs. Like he always got those PK 1 minutes to take the face-off, and he was a 60% guy, or he's a 60% guy, and you have to find this niche.
Hmm.
And yeah, like last season I was with my coach, like this was Finn, and he gave me the face of responsibility, face off plays and everything. I was on D zone, and we had many discussions, and we agree that face-offs are not this important if you have a plan. Like you need to have a plan. What happens if this and that happens? You need 100% plan, because in the end, the difference between 60% and 40%. There is a difference, but the really important face-offs are the special teams, like and O-zone and D-zone face-offs. Those face-offs are important, but you need to have a plan. That's the key.
Since your coach was Finn, did you get any dirt on Yuri Lettinen?
No,
Okay.
I can ask.
Oh, that is great stuff. Thank you, my friend. Um, you've had such a great career, and it's really really cool. I mean, 19 seasons. I mean, when you look back, it's a good run, right? You must be excited. I mean, to make a living at what you love, and as you were playing as a child, that's really cool.
That's the best thing.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Join the debate, because talk to Sean Shapiro about this. I don't know if you heard that program, but there's a big debate. Craig Ludwig says it's not that big of a deal. Left to right defenseman. If you want to join the debate, feel free.
uh I think it makes a difference.
Okay.
I think it makes a difference in the modern, in the sport in hockey. Like I said before, like the NHL and hockey in general gets faster every year. Like you have less time. You have less time with every year. And I think it's easier for defensemen if they are on their forehand. Like it's nobody is better on the backhand than the forehand, except maybe Mike Modano,
Mm-hmm.
who had the best backhand in the league. But every player is better on his forehand. So I think it makes a difference.
All right. Let's give a plug. F Wieser. That's FWIESER 55. Thomas Harley took his number of 55. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Thank you for
That's
your
right.
time. I know you were worried about this, like how good your English was, but your English is terrific. And for those that don't know, where you play is the northern part of Italy. So where you grew up as well is, you were telling me the primary language is German, right? So you grow up
Yeah.
German, and then you learn Italian, and then you learn English.
Yes, I would say like 95% of the people here speak three languages. Like in South Tyrol, where I live in the Dolomites, 70% of the population is Austrian. Like I would say, like their mother language is German, and we speak German at home. And then in the school we learn it when we start learning Italian, and then in the fourth grade we start learning English. And in the end, in the ideal world, we speak three languages, and I hope it was good enough for the podcast, my English, that I could
It was great, my friend.
say what I wanted to say.
Currently, by the way, like I'm seeing these pictures of the Alps, but it's 83 degrees, 22 degrees Celsius. So when we come watch you play hockey, like how cold is it going to get?
Oh, I had a practice 2 years ago with -18.
Wow.
Like a Celsius. I don't know what's that in Fahrenheit. Give me a second. Uh, that's -0.4 in Fahrenheit.
Wow. Okay. And
That was tough.
how does
That was
that
tough for the lungs.
yeah, how does that affect like traveling? Like what's your longest road trip, and how does that work as
Yeah,
far
but
as
that was the exception. But we play at some wings that are really in the mountains, like, and we go to high places, and there was sometimes that we were stuck with the bus there, and we had to stay there, like because it was snowing so much, we couldn't leave the town.
wow. Have you seen a
And
major
yeah,
difference
and
from day one to today as far as the travel amenities?
no, I think it's yeah. it's always bus.
Yeah.
Here's always with the bus, like. But yeah, like the cold, you have to get used to it. Because like the difference here between modern arenas like in Bolzano or in Milan now, like they are warm inside. Then you go to arenas that are partially open on the sides, and you feel the wind, and it's cold in January or February. You have, like I said, you have minus, you have 10, 20 Fahrenheit. And that's a difference. That's cold. You have to get used to. If you play four lines, you get on the ice only every third or fourth minute. That's cold. Like the backup goalie, they have a tough job here. Like sometimes.
And coolest barn you've ever played in?
The
Like,
coolest one.
yeah.
And that's the old Milan arena, the Agora. It's not because it was nice, but it was so loud. It was so loud. That the stands were so close to the ice rink, and the roof was so low that it was unbelievable loud. Like the coach told us before the game, like we run 1, 2, 3, 4. I tap you on the shoulder. Who goes in? Because we had no chance to hear him on the bench.
Wow.
And a little story about that. Like in Milan, the old club there, they had some really tough fans. Like we had a playoff series against them, and we had the first game at home or third game at home, and that was a tough game. Like we really went at each other, like with fights and everything. And we went there. We needed a police escort to go into the rink, into the locker room. Like we need a police escort from the bus to the locker room. Like it's intimidating. Like if you go out of the bus, and then there are like 50, 60 policemen, like with shields and everything, and they need to protect you from the fans that want to go at you. They want to go into the locker room, fight you. Like it's like I was afraid like back then, but now look, like thinking back to it, like it's amazing. Like something I can't imagine now.
And you actually have a legendary name in your league. One of the Eruzionis plays in your league.
Yes, yes. Like I played last year against him, and he will play next year too. Like it's a rivalry against that
Yep.
team, like Carlton and Epan, like that's really close teams. Like the towns are really close to each other, and like that's like we had last year a preseason game against them with 186 penalty minutes. So that's yeah.
That is that is great. Well, once again,
The thing is, like we had the preseason game against them,
yeah.
and 2 weeks after we had the first regular season against them. And because we had this heated game against them in preseason, like the next game in the regular season, like the pack was like the arena was full, like because everybody expecting that we go against each other again like that before. But like it is like if in the preseason it's a different story, and in the regular season you need to keep your cool and don't take bad penalties or something like that. Yeah.
Awesome job, my friend. Your English is tremendous. F. Wieser. I want to get that correct. And you can actually follow his career. Sean works for Elite Prospects. So you can follow his career through there and how they are doing. Let's hoist another cup this year, my friend. And we definitely going to have you back on. I know you were intimidated, but now now we can have you on a regular basis, my man.
I think I denied you 2 or 3 times, something like that,
You
because
did.
I don't know if anybody in DFW wants to hear my stories, but yeah,
I think it's a great story how
you
you're a passionate Stars fan and then you've had this great career in hockey in Italy and you come from a player's perspective, a very successful career in Europe, and you gave us insight today that we ordinarily might not get. I mean, we have our panel of experts, but the fact you talked about the draw, you talked about the transition from center to wing, you talked about the room, you talked about being a master chirper. You brought so much to the table today, so we appreciate it.
Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that's going to do it for another episode of Spits and Suds. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the program. And until our next podcast, have a great day, everyone.